Hello students, how are you? Today we are going to study the concept of Phillips curve. Phillips curve was put forward by A.W. Phillips in the years 1960s, and with the help of Phillips curve, the Phillips showed the relationship between wage inflation rate and unemployment rate. According to Phillips, the wage inflation rate and unemployment rate were inversely related. He gathered the data of different countries of wage inflation rate and unemployment rate of different years, and he plotted it by taking wage inflation rate on the y-axis and unemployment rate on the x-axis. And when he drew the relationship, he found out that the relationship between wage inflation rate and unemployment rate was inverse. We will see this thing in detail. Actually, this topic would take 15 minutes classes approximately. In the first part, we will study that what Phillips curve is and what is it explaining, and in the second part we will discuss the criticism over the Phillips curve. Right? So Phillips curve, I'm drawing a diagram directly. On x-axis there is rate of unemployment percent, and on the y-axis we have wage inflation rate, and this is 0. Mind that actual Phillips curve was drawn to show the relationship between the wage inflation rate and the unemployment rate. Usually the Phillips curve is famous for showing the relationship between inflation rate and unemployment rate, but the actual Phillips curve, which was drawn first by the Phillips itself, was showing the relationship between the wage inflation rate and unemployment rate. And according to him, that there was an inverse relationship between unemployment rate and wage inflation rate. He explained that whenever the wage inflation rate would be lower, unemployment rate would be higher, and if the wage inflation rate will go up, unemployment rate would fall. Right? So he explained that when the wage inflation rate will go up, unemployment rate would fall, but if the wage inflation rate would be suppressed, unemployment rate would increase. Right? Why I was saying that? Let me explain. Mind it that every worker, when it would demand a certain wage rate from its employer, the wage rate must compensate the opportunity cost. If the wage rate is below opportunity cost, obviously the worker would not go for the job, it would prefer to remain unemployed. Let's suppose a worker was initially unemployed, the government was paying him 10,000 rupees unemployment benefits. So if a job would be offered to him of rupees 8,000, obviously the worker won't go for it because it is not compensating for the opportunity cost. Or if some job offers him 10,000 rupees, even then it may not go for that job because the 10,000 is already being received by him in account of unemployment benefits. So the wage rate is not compensating for the opportunity cost. That's why the worker would remain trapped in unemployment. If the unemployment has to be reduced, the worker's opportunity cost must be compensated, and the wages should be more than the opportunity cost which the worker is facing in getting employed. Right? So when wage rate will go up, wage inflation rate will go up, this would mean that the worker's opportunity cost is being compensated, or the worker is receiving over and above the opportunity cost, it is receiving economic rate, then the worker would prefer to get employed, and as a result, unemployment rate would fall. Right? I hope you understand it. I'm repeating the point. Mind it that whenever a worker has to choose that whether it has to remain unemployed or it has to do some job, it will have to consider its opportunity cost. And if the wage rate offered is lesser than the opportunity cost, the worker will not go for that work, the worker will not go for that job. That's why the wage rate must increase in order to attract him toward the job. And when wage inflation rate would increase, and when the wages would be increasing at a greater rate, then obviously workers would prefer to do a job. Workers would prefer to remain intact in work. That's why the unemployment rate would fall. So that's why, that is the reason why Phillips is stated that there is an inverse relationship between the wage inflation rate and the unemployment rate. So this line is showing an inverse relationship. But one point here is that why this line is inward concave. We can also show an inverse relationship by a straight downward sloping line. But why the Phillips curve is drawn inward concave, let me explain that. And for this purpose, I'm going to draw one more diagram. Again, wage inflation rate on y-axis, unemployment rate percent on x-axis, 0. I'm redrawing the Phillips curve here. I'm showing 4 wage inflation rates and unemployment rates. Unemployment rate 1, unemployment rate 2, unemployment rate 3, wage inflation rate 1, wage inflation rate 2, wage inflation rate 3. Let's suppose that unemployment rate here was 10%. Economy was in a recession, and the unemployment rate was 10%, and the wage inflation rate was only 2%. Right? Unemployment rate is 10%, which is a very high rate of inflation, and at the same unemployment rate, the wage inflation rate was 2%. Since it is a situation when there is a recession, since it is the situation when unemployment rate is very high, then the workers are in a weak bargaining position, or the opportunity cost of getting employed is lower. That's why, in order to reduce unemployment rate from 10% to 4%, only a small increase in wage inflation rate was enough. Listen carefully. When the unemployment rate was very high, the workers or the trade unions were in a weak position. That's why, in order to attract the workers in jobs, it was enough to increase the wage inflation only up to a certain level. That's why, in order to reduce unemployment rate to 6%, up to 6%, only a small increase in wage inflation was enough. But when the economy is close to full employment level and unemployment rate is very low, then in order to reduce the unemployment rate, a very big change in wage inflation rate would be required. For example, from 7% to 15%. In order to reduce 6% unemployment, only a 2% wage inflation was enough. But when the economy is close to full employment level and unemployment rate was very low, then the trade unions and the workers were in a strong position, and then to reduce unemployment rate only up to a little extent, a big increase in wage inflation would be required. That is why the Phillips curve is inward concave. I hope this is clear. I have made you understand that why this line is not a straight line. This is inward concave because at higher rates of unemployment, only a lower wage inflation would be enough to reduce the unemployment rate up to a certain level. But when the unemployment rate is very low and the trade unions are very strong, workers are in a very strong position, then in order to reduce unemployment further, a very large increase in wage inflation would be required. That is why it is a downward sloping line and the line is inward concave. Right? In 1970s, two famous economists, Paul Samuelson and the Robert Solow. Paul Samuelson is the economist which when I started to read economics, Mr. Paul Samuelson was the first economist I read, and I was so impressed that I made economics as my profession. That was very inspiring for me. Just by the way, I was discussing that. So Paul Samuelson and Robert Solow, with the same Phillips curve, introduced an adapted Phillips curve by taking inflation rate on the y-axis and unemployment rate on the x-axis. Right? So original Phillips curve was drawn between wage inflation rate and unemployment rate, but Robert Solow and Paul Samuelson changed it a little bit and they put inflation rate on the y-axis and unemployment rate on the x-axis. Why they did so, I'm going to explain that. First, I'm going to draw it. Robert Solow and Paul Samuelson explained that only wage inflation rate cannot increase in isolation. When wage rate will go up, the cost of production of firms will go up, and when the cost of production of firms will go up, obviously they will increase the prices and inflation rate would also go up. Right? The point is simple. That it is not possible that only wage rate would increase and overall inflation would not increase. That would obviously increase. Because when the wage rate is rising, the cost of production of firms are rising. And when the cost of productions are rising, obviously the inflation rate is rising. That's why instead of placing wage inflation rate on the y-axis, Robert Solow and Paul Samuelson placed inflation rate on the y-axis and unemployment rate on the x-axis, and this adaptive Phillips curve is actually showing the relationship between inflation and unemployment. And the relationship is quite simple. This diagram is telling that when unemployment rate is this much, for example 7%, then inflation rate is, let's suppose, 2%. But if the unemployment rate is, for example, 4%, inflation rate will be, let's suppose, 6%. So, Robert Solow and Paul Samuelson explain that inflation rate and unemployment rate are inversely related, then if the government has to reduce unemployment rate, it will have to accept a higher inflation rate. And if it has to control inflation, then it will have to accept a higher unemployment rate. So there is a trade-off between inflation rate and unemployment rate. It means that both the objectives cannot be achieved according to Paul Samuelson's and Robert Solow. The Phillips curve is stating that both the objectives cannot be achieved simultaneously. If inflation rate has to be reduced, unemployment rate will have to let go, it will increase. And if unemployment rate has to be reduced, they will have to allow inflation rate to go up. So government in the form of Phillips curve has a menu of choice available for it. If it wants to have a 9% unemployment, it will have to go for 1% rate of inflation. If it has to go for example, 2% unemployment, then the inflation rate will have to be taken to, for example, 10%. So according to them, the Phillips curve is showing a menu of choice for the government, out of which government can select any point, but the cost would be that if it wants a lower unemployment rate, it will have to accept a higher inflation rate, and if a lower inflation rate, then higher unemployment rate. Why are these things? The reason is that if, for example, let's suppose the unemployment rate was high. In order to reduce unemployment, government would have to adopt expansionary policies. For example, it will reduce interest rate. For example, it will reduce direct taxes. For example, it will increase government expenditure. And all these policies will result in an increase in aggregate demand. And when aggregate demand will increase, unemployment rate would obviously fall, right? If it is not already at full employment level. When aggregate demand will increase, unemployment rate would fall, but simultaneously price level or inflation rate would increase. I'm drawing a diagram here which we'll see, and you already know that diagram, that is simple demand and supply diagram. I'm drawing very close to it so that camera can easily take it inside. Right, let's suppose there is price level on y-axis 0 and this is real GDP. This is simply aggregate demand and aggregate supply. This was price level and this was national output. So if aggregate demand would be increased with the help of expansionary policies, so we can clearly see that national output is increasing. And when national output is increasing, it obviously means that unemployment rate is falling, and simultaneously inflation rate or price level is also going up. So both the things are occurring simultaneously. You can directly see that when aggregate demand is increasing, unemployment rate is falling, but at the same time inflation rate is increasing. Right? So this is obvious from the demand side theory that when the unemployment rate is going down, inflation rate is going up. So the Phillips curve here, the adaptive Phillips curve here, is showing that whenever the unemployment rate would be reduced, it will result in a higher inflation rate, and whenever the government's objective is to control inflation, inflation rate would go up. Unemployment rate would go up. Let's see this diagram simply. Again, aggregate demand, aggregate supply. If the government will reduce aggregate demand, you can simply see that price level is going down, but the national output is falling, which means unemployment rate is increasing. Right? So when expansionary policies are being adopted, unemployment rate is falling and inflation rate is increasing, but when contractionary policies are being adopted, inflation rate is falling and unemployment rate is rising. So the Phillips curve is simply explaining that inflation rate and unemployment rate are inversely related. That's why the government cannot achieve these targets together it will either have to accept higher unemployment with lower inflation or lower unemployment with higher inflation. Right? So this is the simple theory behind. Right? In the next class, we will study the criticism of the Phillips curve, because in the later years, Milton Friedman, a very famous economist, right, and Anna Shores criticized the theory of Phillips curve, and they proved that for a short period of time, the relation between inflation and unemployment is true, but in the long run, there is no trade-off between inflation rate and unemployment rate, and that was their point of view, which we will discuss in the next class. I hope you understand the points. Thank you very much.